here in the paddock today. And for those of you tuning in from live around the world, welcome to opening weekend of the brandly new revamped Ohio Sprint Series. It is an old school style weekend here at Thompson Kart Raceway in Thompson, Ohio, and a short track. One of the shortest ones still running, one of the oldest fully operational tracks here in the country. And this weekend, the Ohio Sprint Series is going to mix things up with two completely different track layouts here today and tomorrow. This one going to be a slightly shorter layout. As you can see, they'll take a quick cut through that'll run towards the final corner. We'll pick a car and follow them around here for qualifying so you can get an idea of where everybody's at. And qualifying for this race series is structured a little bit differently than what we're used to here live on Kart Chaser as well for many of our viewers. It is a 3-lap average that will be setting the times for the grid. They get 6 laps at full speed, so this is coming to complete lap number 2 for the 113 of Logan Pollock, leading around the 114 of John Haydu, and as well, I believe that was the 191 of Sebastian Ryman. So 2 laps all completed here. This is this 3-car pack. They'll come through turns 1 and 2 over to turn number 3. This kind of inner loop hairpin, the first of the 2 inner loops. Then they have the outer loop. There's 4 at the kink. Turn number 5 is this back hairpin right over here. And then coming out of turn 5, it's a quick kink at turn number 6. And then 7. A little right-left dog leg, then turn 1, because that's the timing loop. Turn 1's back there as we had one go off over in the grass, far left side of the front straightaway, and then down to turn number 2 here at the end of the front stretch, and that was the 113 of Logan Pollock. 3 laps in, 3 to go. We don't know exactly where everybody stacks up, but Anthony Ciafani's got the best overall lap time here. My name's Xander Clemens in the booth alongside me, Taylor Burris.
Well, good morning, everyone, and we are here at this beautiful circuit, still finishing up qualifying. But, Xander, it's a great opportunity for the Ohio Sprint Series, a great regional state championship for these drivers here to come out. We have a little over about 60 entries in total for the entire class, so we're looking forward to putting on some great shows throughout this weekend.
Entries are a little bit lighter than usual for the Ohio Sprint Series, formerly known as the Buckeye Karting Challenge. There's a lot of racing going on in the region here this weekend. The Rotax Northeast Championship over at Pittsburgh, the CKNA North Championship at Badger in Dowsman, Wisconsin, the AKRA Road Racing Series at Mid-Ohio's got over 1,100 total entries there on the big circuit. So there's a lot of racing going on in the Midwestern region here, all within about a 6-hour span. That being said, this short track here keeps the times a lot tighter. It should keep the packs tightened up as well. Here's we have a few more drivers again going a little bit wide out of the final turn. And we've heard that's a bit of a trouble spot. Talking with some of the 206 seniors that'll be on track here in a little bit as the checkered flag begins to fly. Logan McCloskey now with the best single lap time at a 28:43. John Haydu a single best at second. Anthony Ciafani in third. Sebastian Ryman fourth. Harrison Bell fifth. Logan Pollock sixth. Declan Clear is seventh. But again, it'll be a 3-lap average is a little bit of a slide across the line for Anthony Ciafani in the 171. Gone through there is the 191 of Sebastian Ryman. His last lap there about 2 seconds off. So in fighting through traffic and trying to be consistent and, of course, learning the ropes of this sport, as for many it's maybe their first trip to this racetrack and their first experience at a level higher than local club-hosted racing. You're going to see a big variance in time. So the way they all stacked up at the end off single best may not be exactly the way they line up for the race with one spin coming into the scale line.
One thing to keep in mind is your top 5 separated by just under 0.7 of a second. So this class here could be a very competitive class. A lot of great racing action, especially for these new up-and-coming stars here in the Ohio Sprint Series.
Yeah, not a bad delta, about 0.7 right there, just under it back to Harrison Bell in fifth. A little bit further back to Logan Pollock and Declan Clear. They'll probably lock into 6th and 7th, but I think we'll see the top 5 shuffle a little bit. On screen there was series owner Chris McCrone, but here for the Ohio Sprint Series, that's one in the books. Already one down. It is 9 total groups here on this weekend's rotation, and the engines will come to life now for 206 Junior to go for a 6-lap hot lap session, and qualifying continue to go. So now here as the 206 juniors head onto the racetrack, we'll keep an eye on where everyone else lines up in qualifying. One session in the books already. Again, as we mentioned here, folks, we are live from Thompson Kart Raceway. It's a short track, old school style racing going on here this weekend. And for those of you tuning in here, you can watch your favorite drivers, send your shout outs in. We're live on the PA here in the paddock as well. So many of you will be able to share your shout outs and praise for your favorite driver you're rooting on the stream. And they'll be able to hear all the words of encouragement throughout the paddock as well. We encourage you to join in on the conversation, as one of the bigger classes on the weekend is the 206 Junior Division. This one we expect to see probably the tightest group in qualifying, if not that in 206 Senior, with the slightly slower speeds on this short racetrack. Logan Upton will set the first time at a 28.67, and again, it's a best 3 laps out of your 6 that you put down. So you've got to be consistent. You've got to have yourself in a good piece of real estate, and real estate tough to find on a 28-second racetrack.
It really is. This track here is going to be very critical to make sure you keep momentum up with this very short track, and possibility of definitely seeing a lot of lap traffic could come into play for some of the classes as we progress further into this racing action later today. But so far, it is still Logan Upton at the top of the leaderboard, just under a tenth of a second ahead of James Stropka, who is currently holding second of that 8:11 machine.
Yeah, about 700ths from first to second. Again, this is off of best lap times, and we do apologize for the lack of leaderboard on the stream. Hopefully at the next race weekend, we'll be fully integrated with the Alpha Live timing system and be able to have live positioning for all of you. But later in the day, we'll see about trying to get a timer up in the top left corner of the screen so you can see for the race sessions. They are going to be 5 minutes plus 2 laps for the pre-finals, I believe, and I will double-check the distance here for the mains. Those ones will be 12 minutes plus 2 laps for the main event, 6 minutes plus 2 laps for the pre-finals. That's all to come later on. We'll go straight into pre-finals, about a 10-minute break after the final qualifying session. Have about an hour lunch break in the middle before we come back with main events in the afternoon at around 1:40. Meanwhile, again, on the racetrack for 206 Junior qualifying, Tegan Schneider is your fastest single lap driver right now at a 27.80, and the fourth lap for Tegan, a good one as well. That's the 8:09 machine. The 8:31 of Logan Stockdale is second on individual laps, 1,000th better, but now it'll shuffle again as Schneider goes even quicker on your screen right here there in the 8:09.
He certainly is. Logan Stockdale will move up back to P2 as well with his qualifying attempt. A couple more shuffles up the board as Riley Davis moves into the top 3 with his personal 1 lap time for the moment. I've still got to count the factors that we still have 3 laps that he has to average out on to get a shot at the pole, but so far tracking in the right direction.
So there goes the leaders on by again. Tegan Schneider at a 27.69. That was a 27.72. That's a best of the 2 lap averages, still better than anyone else's single lap at the moment. That's good news for them as they will head their way down the back straightaway once again. This time will be the final time through. I think the checkers either just flew or was about to fly. It did fly indeed. So that brings them in. Tegan Schneider at a 27.69, a 27.72, and a 27.80. That might be the quickest 3-lap average for 206 Junior. James Stropko, Logan Stockdale, Jack Hady, Riley Davis, all a tenth and a half apart for the top 5. 2.5 for 7 out of the 8 drivers. Isabella Timothy just a little bit further off, about 0.8 off the pace. But when you get to a short racetrack here, there's just not a lot of corners to make up time or to lose time. So that's where we're going to see at a track as short as this here, some very, very close lap times in qualifying. That 3-lap average will be crucial, like we mentioned, in terms of trying to be able to give yourself room to run 3 laps. You might get 1 good lap following someone around. You have to make a pass the next lap. That'll be slower. And then you got to clean the tires back up to go a little bit quicker. But for the Ohio Sprint Series, again, that's 2 down. 206 Senior now moves up to the bracket as we get set to go. And we are right on schedule for those here in the paddock as well. That was 2 sessions right on the money. 2 minutes, and then we'll go green with 206 Senior. engines coming to life now here in 206 Senior as they slowly roll out onto the racetrack. In a final practice yesterday, we were told there was about only a tenth of a second for the top 9 or 10 in the division here, and that was really the difference of even that little bit of following around on the front straightaway. So you're talking hundreds and thousands being the average distance between positions in terms of lap times in this one. It'll make that 3-lap average all the more critical to kind of get yourself in a good place to run times. Here's Harbier Doss on the Rocketech Motorsports Will Power Kart headed down to turn number 2 right now. That is the 949 machine with that white helmet and the blue and white go-kart here. That Kart Republic manufactured go-kart. He's running double duty this weekend in both 100cc Senior as well as 206 Senior. And out of the 10 drivers on the racetrack here, he's going to be the first one to kind of lay a lap down and let us know where we lie in terms of lap times. His first time, a 27.95, a 27.63 for Dylan White in the 972 that went out a little bit ahead of him, all the way back to Jerry Fandry Jr. And the 977 will be the last driver to put laps in. Here's the 923 of Cody Lindstrom, who was quick in practice as well in that K100 senior class that had 0.004 of a second separate the top 3. So Cody Lindstrom on the Tony Kart. Let's see what he can do across the line in the 923 for lap number 2. It will be 4th, a 27.75.
Really good effort. This is one of our biggest classes. We have 14 entries here for your 206 Seniors as we keep an eye and watching on that 923 of Cody Lindstrom as he works his way through out of the bowl, turns 4 and 5 here as he works his way down the short chute. That's a good run, but still we are keeping an eye to see what Javier Doss, along with the rest of the field, as Dylan White goes fastest. Now Javier Doss, Jerry Fandry still holds on to that 3rd spot with the single lap average right now.
Yeah, again, all we're ranking right now is that single lap average. Harbier Doss is 27.225, has him 16 thousandths up on Henry Wheeler. His Rocketech Motorsports teammate Dylan White is 3rd, Fandry 4th, Peyton Polaric is 5th, 2.5 tenths back right now, halfway into the session. Here's again the 923 coming across the line. Cody Lindstrom is down in 9th. He'll jump to 5th. At a 27.38. That's a decent one. It'll put him a little higher, but the rest of the times will bump him back down. Good laps for Matt Darlison, Ben Smith, Glenn Hobbs all moved themselves back higher in the top 10.
Good run here, looking through to see if there was any other big movers and shakers who made some improvements. So far, not just yet. We'll see here. They are coming with 2 laps left to go here in this qualifying session. Let's see if the 923 can pick it up just a little bit. He sits P6. He moves it up just a little bit. Not quite yet, though. He's going to still be sitting, actually dropping 2 spots after that last lap.
Yeah, he improved 27.46 that time for Cody Lindstrom on his 5th lap. It still only puts him in 8th, make that 9th. Good lap from Keegan Widmeyer. Dylan White in the 972 has the fastest single time. His next lap was pretty good, so he's got a good 2-lap average going as the checkered flag flies this time. So for Dylan White, a 26.88, a 26.90. That's a good 2-lap section. Henry Wheeler improves on the final lap. Still a 10.25 to find. Harbier Doss gets moved back to 3rd on the single lap time. Jerry Fandry Jr. is 4th. Widmeyer is 5th. Polaric 6th. Ben Smith, Glenn Hobbs, Matt Darlison, Cody Lindstrom. Then you have Carson Smith, Everett Hunter, Aiden Chappell, and Taryn Chamarevu is down in that 14th position. So 14 all locked in here for 206 Senior. It'll take them a moment to roll into the scale line, and we'll get set to go into our next division for qualifying, and that'll be a hybrid, a group of a couple of classes for the qualifying session with Tillotson, junior, senior, and masters on the section. However, I believe this weekend it's just Ian Quinn along with Chase Buscalia and Tillotson Sr., who are going to be doing a lot of fun stuff for us on the cameras. So the Ohio Sprint Series, 3 down, 6 to go to set grids here for pre-finals later today. So back here for this old school short track style race here this weekend live on Kart Chaser for the Ohio Sprint Series. Group number 4 has Tillotson Jr., Senior, and Master, and a couple familiar names for many watching the scene here from the national races. Chase Buscalia and Ian Quinn are in the two Tillotson Racing T4 chassis, as well as the Tillotson T225 RS Senior power plants. They're headed through turns 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. Sorry, and they're going to have a lot of fun for us this weekend, I think, with the two of them playing in the senior division. Aaron Melberg is the third in line, and so Ian Quinn just going to drop back behind Chase and follow him around a little bit for the 6 total laps they'll get. This will be the end of lap 1, start of lap number 2 as they head down the long starting straightaway. Again, that's the one thing that's special about this racetrack. There's a lot to take note of for sure, but there is a separate start line and finish line. The tram line's there at the back of the screen. That's the start line where they will go down into turn number 2 at full speed. But as they come out of the back outer loop section here and through this quick little dog leg, the finish line is right here, right there at the pylon and the scoring tower. So that is where they'll get scored for the lap times. And for Ian Quinn, Chase Buscalia, first lap, pretty close. Quinn a little bit better at a 26.62.
Yeah, about 2/10 better over Chase here. So these two drivers, they're going to have us put on a good little show for us, I have to say, with them being able to work their way in the national ranks and be able to have some good fights here for us here in the Ohio Sprint Series. We'll see if they're able to improve on their lap time. Chase does by just a little bit, 0.05 of a second now.
Yeah, he tightens that gap. Quinn slowed down a little bit. Their average going to be close. Here's the 13 of Aaron Melberg on the Bureau Art. I believe that might be a Tillotson Master. No, that is a Tillotson Senior entry. And Chase Buscalia, a Tillotson Junior entry. But the two are pretty evenly matched, and I don't know for sure if that's a Tillotson Junior or Tillotson Senior entry, but there's Tillotson tickets up for the Class Series champions at the end of the season. And we expect the numbers to pick up as we get moving on to the final 2 weekends of the 3-weekend, 6-round calendar for the Ohio Sprint Series. Rounds 1 and 2 here at Thompson Kart Raceway. Rounds 3 and 4 set for the Lock, the Lorain, Ohio Kart Complex, or potentially a temp circuit if that brand new racetrack in Lorain, Ohio isn't fully up to snuff and ready for competition in August. And at the same time, we'll also be having the season finale in October over at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, a beautiful facility with Sean Bailiff and the Trinity Karting Group Motorsports Camp that they've built out there that we're excited to take our series to finish off the year at the weekend before Halloween. 5 laps done, 1 to go. This will be the final time to try and improve. Quinn's gone quick enough that I think he will not have to worry about the way the average falls. That'll be at 25.99 on the final lap. Puts 2.5 tenths on Buscalia. Aaron Melberg's about 4 seconds backing off the pace, so that'll wrap up Tillotson Senior and Junior qualifying, and Buscalia showing a Junior on timing. I don't know if he will be, but this is where they're going to have some fun with us and the cameras. They're looking for them all around the racetrack, and speaking with Ian and Chase, they said, we're going to have a good time here this weekend. Not a lot of go-karts. We're going to find a way to make it fun for ourselves, and I think we'll get to see a lot of that when their pre-final comes up later today. So let's begin with 206 Masters Group number 5 as we're right at the halfway marker here in qualifying to set our starting lineups for the pre-finals. Again, a 3-lap average in qualifying, 6 laps to put that 3-lap average together. For the 206 Masters, it's the elder statesman of the sport, aboard the Briggs 206 power plants that are headed onto the circuit now. Michael Davis, Kent McCloskey, Brandon Bell, Jim Johns, Eric Bond, John Sabota. 6 drivers that have all crossed the loop. Now Jeff Liberatore has crossed as well. It'll put 7 on the entry list here as we follow the 602 of Kent McCloskey towards the back section.
One thing we've seen here compared to a lot of the tracks that we go to is not a very draft-dependent track. It's going to be a lot of momentum keeping up, making sure you hit your mark. There is a couple of areas where you can try to get a good run on your competitors here, but you have to make sure you keep the momentum up around this circuit. As we watch the first lap times, Brandon Bell goes to the top of the leaderboard with a 28.522.
Yeah, 10th and 3/4 up on Michael Davis. Eric Bond is a little further back, but the first lap's all in, and just like Taylor said, again, for a class that's only at 9 horsepower and a pretty heavy minimum weight, it's normally a super speedway style race at any other racetrack. But at a racetrack like Thompson Kart Raceway with the lap times under 30 seconds, it is a little bit more about individual speed. It also is a little bit trickier to pass when you don't have that draft to pull you up alongside. You've got a couple hard-braking hairpins. You can send it down the inside of another driver, but it will be tricky. It will be elbows up racing. I think we'll see a little bit of contact on a narrow racetrack like this one as well. It should be fun to watch for a bull ring style event here for the Ohio Sprint Series to kick things off. Hopefully no one gets their feelings too hurt and is ready to come back for action tomorrow. 3 down now. Kent McCloskey, best single lap, 27.81 aboard the 602. This is Michael Davis on screen in the 699 at a 27.95. He's a 10th and a half back at the moment.
Trying to find a little bit of extra speed here around this circuit, see if he can improve. He does improve his lap time, but still Brandon Bell picks it up even more so on the lap times as well. So he still holds on to the fastest lap of the race as Kent McCloskey moves up to P2.
Yeah, McCloskey bumped back to second. That was actually Bell moving all the way to the top of the leaderboard with a burner lap time on lap 4 for Brandon Bell at a 27.73. McCloskey drops to second. Davis back to third. Let's see Davis. This is penultimate lap. 5 down, 1 to go. It'll move him to second on the individual lap times. That was a good one. 27.79 for Michael Davis. Kent McCloskey's 5th lap cannot do any better. Brandon Bell will nearly match Davis's time. That puts Brandon Bell's average in a pretty good spot going into the final lap. Let's see what Michael Davis can do on this final time by the stripe. Checkered in the air, last time through. And the 6th lap, a 27.86. That will not be enough for pole. Brandon Bell behind him on the 644 is going to go all the way to a 27.60, nearly 2/10 better. And that'll improve his average to a low 27.7. That would be best in the single lap times over the rest of the field. So Brandon Bell will lock into the pole. Michael Davis, a good 3-lap average, should be enough to beat out Kent McCloskey for that outside front row starting spot. Then it's Eric Bond, Jim Johns, John Sabota, all about 4/10 apart on their single best time. Jeff Liberatore in the 684 is 7th, 1.1 seconds off of the pole time in terms of single laps. Group 5 done. 206 Masters will roll into the pit lane here. And so then we will move on into group number 6. That'll be your Rotax 125 senior, your tag senior, and your Rotax juniors onto the racetrack. So now onto the racetrack we go for a hybrid group once again. Just like with Tillotson, you got a couple of different classes on the circuit. You have one Rotax Junior driver on the entry list. We have one Tag 125 Senior, and the rest in the Rotax 125 Max Senior division. And this one, of course, getting tickets to the Rotax U.S. Grand Nationals. That'll be in September at Newcastle Motorsports Park. We'll actually be live streaming that event as well. So there's a lot of road taxes in action this weekend between here and then just a few hours down the road at Wampum, Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh at the pit race with the Rotax Northeast Championship. Chase Buscalia is the lone Rotax 125 Junior. He's in the middle there in the white bodywork on screen. That is Henry Wheeler, I believe, in the 334 Beryl Art Rotax Max Senior Division. Kellum Colquitt is also the other senior Rotax driver, and Lauren Goetz is your Tag 125 Senior. So this will be a little more spread out with a much bigger difference in performance start to finish. There's the 316 of Kellum Colquitt on the CRG Rotax Senior headed on out. Here's Buscalia. Let's see how consistent they can get in Rotax Senior as well as Junior, and of course the Tag 125 Senior for Buscalia, a 24.82 on lap 1, a 25.01 on lap number 2. Henry Wheeler, a 24.62 to show the difference of that Senior Max package. That has a power valve, and of course it's a little bit higher weight, but it ends up with about 6 more horsepower than the Rotax Junior package ends up having. As they come onto the front straightaway, you'll see Wheeler close up a little bit to Buscalia, but on a shorter racetrack, the difference not too much. There's problems for Kellum Colquitt there. That's over in the inner loop at turn number 3. The CRG has spun off to the wayside.
Yeah, tough break there for Kellum as he's trying to get himself refired possibly. May not be able to by the looks of it, as we pick up the 252 of Chase Buscaglia. He works his way up, comes up across the line, 24.536, still about just under 0.2 of a second off the pace of Henry Wheeler.
Yeah, just a little bit off, but a lot closer there. And again, on a shorter racetrack, that extra power advantage doesn't do too much. It's very rare you can find a 125cc engine be only about 4 seconds a lap faster than a 9 horsepower Briggs 206 class, but that's the case here with this short racetrack. There's just not a lot you can do with all that power. It's like a bull in a china shop for these Rotax Maxes and 125 tags as well. 5 now down. They're on the final lap of qualifying. Henry Wheeler improves to a 24.33 on that lap. Let's see what Buscalia can do on the Junior Max. Wheeler is following in his tire tracks, and they'll come to the timing loop this time by, let's see, lap 6 at the line. They'll go side by side as Wheeler goes by him. Buscalia 24.89, Wheeler 24.34. He'll keep that 3-lap average close. And again, there's a bonus as well for the end of the day for the driver that's able to get the overall closest 3 lap times. Henry Wheeler, best chance of that with 3 classes he's competing in here this weekend between 206 Senior, 125 Senior, and KA Senior as well. But they'll bring it in, and that'll do it for your Rotax Max and Tag 125 qualifying. Lauren Guts at a Tag 125 24.67, only a couple tenths off of Buscalia and Wheeler, and Kellum Colquitt again, as we saw on screen, breaking down on the racetrack. It'll give us a break in the action here before the final 3 classes get underway. Miami Mini 60 onto the circuit in a moment. Then it'll be time for KA Junior and then 100cc KA Senior. All right, so for Miami 60cc mini qualifying, we go out onto the racetrack here. We got a good look at them at the end of practice. Here's a look at some of the action going on across the way at the Thompson Raceway Park drag strip here just next door. Has got some points racing going on today. So there's action all across this facility here in Thompson, Ohio. Action here on the kart track, action over on the drag strip. And for the Ohio Sprint Series, we've got 3 classes still yet to know where they will line up for their pre-final later this morning. This one, the first of the 3, the Miami 60cc Mini. Cole Vetter on that 110 comp cart. First across the line, Logan McCloskey crossing as well. Here is the 181 going across. That's Remy Boss. They're moving up from the Kid Kart division last season. And I believe we're missing Anna McCrone, who's supposed to be on track as well. That would make it 5. We've got 4 turning laps so far. So here comes the 102. That's Logan McCloskey there on the Nitro kart on by. Cole Vetter 28-0. McCloskey 27-96. A good tight start here in 60cc Mini.
Yeah, Nicholas Lester also dropped the time with a 28.63. Remy Boss, who's now coming across the line, a little bit off the pace quite a bit, 35.01. So has a little bit of work to do, but as they work their way around, Cole Vetter 27.223. Definitely going to be the one to watch in this class.
Yeah, Cole Vetter, let's see what Logan McCloskey does. His second lap, even better. McCloskey 27.11 for the second lap in a row. He'll just edge out Cole Vetter. And Nicholas Lessiter, we'll see how much he improves on his second lap at warm tire temperatures. The driver sitting in third. It won't be enough to really move the needle much. 28.22 on lap number 2 for the 117. Remy Boss, though, at 6 seconds off. That's what they had a bit of a parent meeting for right at the end of practice, just to keep an eye on potential lap traffic. That could be the case here in this one for the Miami 60cc mini class. Nicholas Lessiter's third lap a little better, 27.56. He'll pull within a half second of the top 2.
He certainly will. He's got a little bit of work to do as he comes on across with his third lap. We're going to see what McCloskey and Vetter does as they come across the line. 2 laps to go for Vetter. 27.91 by the looks of it as he comes across the line. Here comes McCloskey, a 27.11. Very fast lap time for him right now.
Yeah, 27.11. That's very consistent as well. It was a 27.11 the lap 2 laps prior for Logan McCloskey, so he's looking good for that 3-lap average, maybe even that overall of the total classes 3-lap average bonus. Although the 117 Nicholas Lessiter here trying to work his way around Remy Boss. He's closed down to back within a second again at a 27.40 improved, but this 5th lap going to get hurt as he gets around Remy, coming to the finish line to the timing loop. He'll start the final lap a little bit slower. Logan McCloskey hasn't bumped off the top step, though. Cole Vetter with a burner on lap 5, 26.47. These kids have picked up a lot of speed as they've gotten confidence over the course of the session. Now Cole Vetter sits atop by 0.2.
Really picking up the pace here as we pick the 177 or 117 up right now. Nicholas Lester as he comes through the final couple of corners here. Let's see if he's going to be able to improve on his lap time. Checkered flag is out for him. A 27.376. As for the rest of the field, a 26.453 for Cole Vetter, a 26.515 for Logan McCloskey.
So nothing major through the field. 6 laps done and dusted for Miami 60cc Mini. Cole Vetter versus Logan McCloskey. It'll come down to the wire on that one based on the 3-lap average. Cole Vetter, quickest on the single lap. McCloskey had a fist in the air. I think he may be a little better on the 3-lap average that will set the grid, but they'll be the front row for later on in the day as they pull into the scales. We switch our focus now. K.A. Jr. next up here from Thompson. All right, first of the two final classes on the lineup, still yet to go. Miami 100cc Junior released onto the circuit. Miami 100cc Senior now on deck for qualifying. We're right on schedule, and here's a good look at one of the red speed go-karts. That is the 817, headed across the timing loop of Jack Haydu, second out there, released behind James Stropko in the 100cc Junior qualifying. All these ones will be looking to give themselves as big of a gap out front and out back as humanly possible to put good laps in. Cash Felber and Roman Felber clock in to start their first lap. Gabe Holland will do the same. One transponder to be updated on the driver down in the 6th spot, but here we go to start the lap times. First across the line, Stropko 27:11, Jack Haydu 27:701 for that red speed on your screen, as we've got one off on the side down by turn number 1 already. One driver with an issue that is pulled off to the front right-hand side of the front straightaway.
We'll have to find out here as they come across the line to see which driver that is, as we'll pick up the field. That was the 873 they just went by. That's Roman Felber, who came across the line, and he sets a time. So far, Jack Haydu just came across the line, so he is out there still on the track with a 26:774. Same thing with James Stropka.
Yeah, Stropko, I believe, was the driver
there it
off
is,
on the side.
That is Stropka.
Yeah, that's the Tony Kart of James Stropko. So Stropko will only get one lap in. That'll put him all the way to the tail. Jack Haydu will inherit the top spot for now over Lucas Crucella in the 899. And Haydu with a 26:44 on his third lap. That's a high bar, 6.5 tenths for everyone at minimum to improve to get close. Cash Felber will answer the challenge. 26:21. He'll go to the top on the single lap time by 2 tenths.
Could we see a sub 25-second lap here as they work their way around this circuit? It's possible. Maybe in the senior category we can see that happening here as they work their way across the line. A 26:10 for Jack Haydu.
Yeah, Haydu will go back quicker, but he's almost a lap ahead of the rest of the field. Cash Felber, no improvement there on that time, keeps it consistent, but it was slower than Haydu, a 26:27 to Haydu's 26:10. Here's Haydu coming by for lap number 5. If this can be close to the lap he hit before, that'll be good at the line. Jack Haydu, 26:30, not the lap he needed, as there again off the side is James Stropko. Gage Holland is down in 6th. Lucas Crucella is 4th. Roman Felber is 3rd. It's 1.5 tenths for the top 4. Roman's picked it up. Lucas Crucella's picked it up. They've still got 2 laps to go. Now Crucella, fastest single overall lap. Roman Felber will go even quicker. How about a 25:79 for your 25-second bracket, Taylor?
It certainly is indeed. And Jack Haydu just came across the line, a 25:960. So good average. But the thing is it going to be enough for him to get the pole?
Yeah, let's see. Roman Felber needs a good average for himself. Coming to the checkered final time for the 873. And across the line, it will go better. That'll be a good 2-lap average. Needs to make up for a slower third. A 25:65 for Roman Felber. If it holds, it might get the pole. Jack Haydu ends with his individual best 25:96. A 26 flat for Crucella. Felber a 26 flat. Holland a 26.7. And again, James Stropko didn't even get to start his day really in the 877, down in 6th. One class still to go. Miami 100cc Senior. Miami 100cc senior qualifying underway as the drivers begin the first lap. Harbier Doss, Cody Lindstrom, Chase Adams, Matt Darlington, Lauren Goetz. Lauren Getz there in the 988. Carson Smith, the last one across the loop at the 944. There's the Kart Republic of Harbier Doss to start his first lap, 8:25.400. Where does Cody Lindstrom fall? A little bit further off, 26.167. Chase Adams a little slower. Darlison a little slower. Good lap out of Lauren Getz there in the 988. She'll go 26.79. And Carson Smith, the last one across the line there. But Harbier Doss, without Henry Wheeler in the division, is going to feel pretty confident here in 100cc senior. A 24.9. That was a good lap there for his home racetrack. 3/10 up on Cody Lindstrom.
A lot of big opportunities for Javier Doss as he works his way around the circus. A 24.9 flat for him as he works his way towards the back half of the course. Let's see if he can pick it up even more, stretching the gap for him to take home the pole position in this category as he comes across the line. 24.91.
Yeah, that's a good consistent run there. How about Cody Lindstrom across the line in the 949 Tony Kart? Cody Lindstrom, a 24.85. That'll be 400ths up on Doss. 700ths off the pace. Improving as well was Matt Darlison, but Cody Lindstrom now in command on the Kart Republic here in 100cc senior. The Tony Kart in 206 senior. Let's see Cody across the line that time. 24.7. Doesn't beat Doss. Doss as a 24.56. Matt Darlison crosses 24.78. So he'll match Cody Lindstrom. He will not go quicker than Harbier Doss. Lauren gets there a 24.92. Chase Adams 25 flat. Carson Smith still looking to find some more. Let's see what Lindstrom can do for lap number 5. Cody Lindstrom 24.77. Inconsistent. Within 2,000ths of his last time. Not enough to really go better than Harbier Doss, though. He improves again.
How about Matthew Darlison going up to a 24.550? So he's now starting to get a little bit more consistent, having an opportunity to come out with a good starting on the front row.
Yeah, that was good for Darlison. He needs a good 6th lap for that to match. Looked like one driver might have popped a chain coming through the final sector. But across the line for Cody Lindstrom, final time, 24.81. All he could get out of it. Matt Darlison, 25.12. Not that much better. Harbier Doss was able to go decent. There is the 999 of Harbier off on the side. So 24.19. That thing was ripping fast until he blew the chain off of it coming through the final corner. But he got what he needed out of it. That should be a pull award for Harbier Doss with the 3-lap average on the Rocketech Motorsports Kart Republic. Darlison, Lindstrom gets Chase Adams, Carson Smith. Your lineup based off of individual times. It may shuffle in the middle. It will stay the same on the top of the leaderboard when that 3-lap average gets factored. And we'll wait to see who ends up being the most consistent 3-lap average driver to get that bonus award here by the Ohio Sprint Series. About a 20-minute break. We come back here with pre-finals in just a few moments. time to get underway with the first race of the morning. We've got 9 full pre-finals here to go before the lunch break. It is 6 minutes plus 2 laps on the board for all drivers. 2:06 Sportsman getting set to head on to the racetrack for their pre-final. So again, you'll see that timer in the top left hand of your screen. That will show the remaining time. When that timer hits 0, it will be 2 laps added on to the session. There's series owner Chris McCrone here for the Ohio Sprint Series, giving the last command to the field as they begin to roll their way off the grid and get set to go green. It'll be a start down into turn number 2 at the end of the long front straightaway in the tram lines. The timer will go off of the timing loop to the right-hand side of where we're looking there at the finish line straight, just across from us in the tower here at Thompson Raceway Park. So from Thompson, Ohio, for the first ever official session of the newly rebranded Ohio Sprint Series. History in the making here today for the first full run through all classes and the first full sessions here. Qualifying done. Grids are set on the new format. That is the best of the 3-lap averages. We got a little bit of issues with everyone trying to get themselves into position here, Taylor.
Little archy-barchy right there on the warm-up lap as they get themselves lined up double file, as they get themselves ready to turn loose for 6 minutes plus 2 laps. Your field working over, waiting for the full grid to come across the line to get started with the field. But it looks like a nice and clean start to get ourselves ready for our first pre-final event of the day.
Yeah, so from qualifying, Logan McCloskey was indeed the fastest overall, as well as the fastest single time in the 1:02 Ricardo kart. That's that blue and white go-kart with the black helmet on the inside. He'll bring the 7-car field down the start-finish line. They have that start line box designated by the 4 orange cones on the driver's left and right-hand sides. Anytime in the box, they can pick up the power, and we'll get them green underway with John Haydew on the outside, and they'll rock it down to turn number 2 and get single file. And the first class is underway for the Ohio Sprint Series here as they race down to turn number 3 through the hairpin. Everyone's going to make it through out of there. We'll head down the backstretch, and we'll get to racing. And the timer starts here with 6 minutes plus 2 laps on the board.
Already a great jump over the rest of the field is that 102 machine in the Ricardo kart as they come across the line to put lap 1 up on the board as they work their way back towards the back straightaway here, already separated by about 3 kart lengths.
Yeah, we'll wait for Race Monitor to update there, but it's Logan McCloskey in the 1:02 that leads them as they spread out. Here is the fight for second. That is the 114 of Haydew. John Haydew there in the 114. The 171 Parolin of Anthony Chiafani in third in line right there, and just a little bit wide out of the back outer loop section. They'll come through the dogleg across the line, and they'll put a full lap underway here. 1 full lap completed, and the timer now already at 1 minute a lap so far. So 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, but single file. So far, so good for 206 Cadet as they go. This inner loop battle here for second is the closest one on the racetrack as they say single file. About a 6 or 7 car length gap to begin for Logan McCloskey. He'll come to put lap number 2 at full speed in the books. And 4.5 minutes to go, 1.5 minutes completed so far.
Haydew in that energy kart trying to see if he can close the gap a little bit, but it's not going to work. He's got a little bit of help, like you said, from the Parolin of Ciafani, who's trying to help with a little bit of drafting as they work over into turns 2 and 3, heading over into the hairpin, working over towards the back half of the course. But really, Haydew has just absolutely cannot find the speed he needs to hunt down McCloskey.
And correction, I believe it's Addison Haydew there. John Haydew, the father who will be racing later on in the day. That's Addison there in the pink helmet on the energy. She's second. Her first couple laps by. Oh, around goes Anthony Ciafani in the 171. Parolin out of third. Spins it in that final turn. That's been a trouble spot for many here this weekend. And the Parolin driver will drop all the way to the rear. We'll see if the Ciafani can get back going under power and close back up to the back of the field. It will shake the leaderboard up. Now Sebastian Ryman in the 191 moves into third. Here comes the field on by. There's second place with Addison Haydew there in the pink helmet aboard the energy on the outside. The Parolin of Anthony Ciafani was able to get back going. Where does Ciafani come across the line? I think it'll be back in 5th or 6th.
Nope.
No, all the way down to 7th behind Declan Clear in the 100 down in 6th. So Anthony Ciafani on the Parolin out of the race, and a DNF, no, able to still keep going at the end of the lead lap, just barely. 22 seconds back, though. That's on the verge of going a lap down. Here's third and fourth. The 191 is Sebastian Ryman and Harrison Bell in the 144 all-black machine. That's third and fourth. The battle for P3 on your screen headed down to turn number 2.
Ryman in that Kart Republic machine having a good run so far after capitalizing on Ciafani's mistake to move into the podium position for this pre-final in your 206 Sportsman. Starting to close the gap. Bell currently just 0.3 off the pace last time by over Ryman as they head towards the last couple of corners and approaching the start-finish.
Yeah, they'll come across the line this time. That'll be 7 laps in the books here on the longest session they've done so far this weekend. Logan McCloskey, 2.5 seconds out front to Addison Haydu, another 2.5 back to third and fourth on the screen here with Sebastian Ryman and Harrison Bell. And lap traffic going to go the way of the leader in the 102 here this time or next time. Anthony Ciafani still on the lead lap for now, about 4 seconds up from the race leader and back to a good comfortable pace. Declan Clear is 11 seconds back, about 2 seconds off the leader's lap times. Will fall to the rear, maybe go a lap down in the main event. Should be safe here in this pre-final as we're already down now to 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. There's around 6 laps remaining in the session. We'll end up around a 14-lap heat or so. Logan McCloskey there, 2.8 seconds. He'll add another 0.2 to the gap back to Addison Haydu there in the energy. Here's third and fourth again coming through. Harrison Bell tracking down a little bit on Sebastian Ryman last time by, and the time before that, 1/10 better for the kid in fourth on that blacked out number 144.
Bell really just methodically closing the gap here. Might have an opportunity coming into the hairpin. Closes it even further to about a kart length between himself and Ryman as they head to the back half of the circuit.
Yeah, they'll go through the outer loop as called here at Thompson Kart Raceway for third and fourth. This time by, we're just over a minute plus 2 laps left in the pre-final. And across the line for another run. That was another bit of improvement out of Harrison Bell. Pulls into within a 2/10 gap at the timing loop. So Harrison Bell tracking down Sebastian Ryman for P3 as they go through the inner hairpin at turn number 3, through that kink at turn number 4, and down the back straightaway on the outer loop there. Little battle starting to happen further back as we watch this battle for third come across the line. Again, that's still Harrison Bell closing on Sebastian Ryman. Logan McCloskey is your leader, and he's caught up to the end of the pack. We'll update that where it comes, as Declan Clear had a bobble the lap before and faded further backwards. So did Logan Pollock, 5th and 6th. That's why they're out of frame in this battle for third. Here's second. Yellow flags waving up the road as off the racetrack has gone Logan Pollock, who has spun around in the dog leg coming to the finish line. Logan Pollock will go a lap down and fall all the way down to 7th.
Tough break for Logan Pollock as he looks like he's not fired up yet, so he's going to have to wait till the end of the race to keep on going. There he goes. He just came across here in turn number 1. But here comes Addison Haydu trying to keep herself in contention. She's 3 seconds back, though, from Logan McCloskey, who's about to get the 2 to go signal this time by.
Yeah, 2 to go for your race leader, Logan McCloskey. There, 2.7 second gap. It came down a little bit as he had to navigate the lap traffic of Declan Clear's Cosmic. So here is, again, Addison Haydu, P2. Good, safe run here in the pre-final to put herself on the front row of the main event later on this afternoon. For all the friends and family watching here, to remember to make sure you have a KC Premium subscription to be able to watch those main events later on today. The white flag will fly. Here comes Haydu up to the lap traffic of Declan Clear through the final couple corners and down the front straightaway. There goes your leader. Aboard the Ricardo kart, it's been a smooth and easy going opening pre-final. And out of the turn 3 hairpin, he'll go to the outer loop for the final time. The 102 of Logan McCloskey on the all-black suit and helmet combination. That blue and white Ricardo kart will catch up to the tail end of the field. He'll take the checkered flag, and that will do pre-final number 1. Logan McCloskey, your winner. Addison Haydu will finish second. That group ahead of him there at the end of the lead lap, that's Anthony Ciafani getting around Declan Clear and around Logan Pollock, I believe. Harrison Bell still trails Sebastian Ryman. He'll end up in 4th. Ryman in 5th in the 15-lap completed pre-final for 206 Sportsman. And just like that, one race completed. Everyone's going to finish, well, not all on the lead lap. Logan McCloskey keeps them under control at the end of it all. Addison Haydu second, Sebastian Ryman, Harrison Bell third and fourth. Anthony Ciafani from that spin out of third rebounds back to position number 5 at the tail end of the lead pack. Declan cleared 6th. Logan Pollock will end up in 7th, and that will be Pollock there off on the wayside. That's out on the outer loop again. Logan Pollock's gone around. He'll try to get that CRP Racing cadet pulled back into the scale line, and that'll put us down, 1 down, 8 still to come here before the lunch break. Got a lot of racing going your way. 206 Junior next up. So now the engines have come to life for 206 Junior as they're released onto the circuit for the Ohio Sprint Series second group of 9. And we'll get an idea of where everyone lines up for the main event after this one. I got another 6 minutes plus 2 laps. A little more experience out of your 206 Juniors. We might see a little bit tighter action at the front of the field. It was a much closer qualifying than the 206 Sportsmen's in the class down below. So here we go, coming to the start line to begin the second pre-final of the morning sessions for 206 Junior. The way their qualifying ended up, it had Tegan Schneider there in the 809 who leads them to green as they're under power down to turn number 2. Talking with some drivers, the grip is a little bit tougher to find on the outside of that big bank corner, but they're back on the inside for turn 3, and that'll slide, I believe, James Stropko in the 811 into second. They're side-by-side further back for 5th. That's the 817 of Jack Haydu on the inside. He's going to try and get clear. A little bit of carnage coming out. He will lose the spot. And here's an idea of where they stack up at the end of lap number 1. It's Tegan Schneider over Riley Davis, James Stropko, Logan Stockdale, Logan Upton in 5th. Haydu falls down to 6th, but single file for the beginning parts of the second full speed lap here is the timer in the top left hand of your screen there. It's that 6 minutes plus 2 laps the race distance. There's a little quick signal from the 811 of James Stropko back to Logan Stockdale saying, work with me, let's go forward towards the front 2. They're still well within reach, but the opening laps spread things out a little bit further here. Tegan Schneider, a 28.0. Riley Davis, a 28.2. Davis closes back in. A better turn number 2 for Davis. He'll get up to the bumper and a good run for Riley. And 3rd, 4th, and 5th still close together as well. Stropko, Stockdale, Logan Upton there in the 5th spot.
You have 5 drivers right here in contention for your pre-final win and had a chance to start on the front row for the finals later on this afternoon as they come across the line. It is still Schneider holding strong over Davis as they work down the back straightaway here. This good opportunity for this bank corner to set up a good passing for your situation. But as they work their way over into the hairpin, Schneider starting to pull away just a little bit. And how about Logan Upton setting the fastest lap of the race?
Yeah, Logan Upton had a burner lap last time by to close up to the back of that grouping. He's all over the rear bumper of Logan Stockdale for 4th. So he needs to set up for a move there. Really 2 major passing opportunities, turn 3 and the backstretch. You can maybe pull one off in turn number 2. He's going to look to the inside there, side by side for 4th. Not going to get clear by the time they get to 3, though, and that'll give the spot back to Stockdale. So Upton back to work. Big run coming out of the hairpin, having a wider entry if he wants to get some guts to go to the inside in the outer loop. He does not. Stockdale a little wide, Upton a little narrow. No change there for position number 4. For the lead, Tegan Schneider, though, Schneider is going to come under pressure. Is off the racetrack going wide. There is Stockdale. Logan Upton was all over him, still all over him in turn 2. This time he gets through, and for the lead, it's tightened as well. Schneider over Davis, and back to James Stropko, a car length from 1st to 2nd.
How about Stropko? Remember in qualifying, he did not even get to finish qualifying session, and here he is competing for a chance of winning here in the pre-final event as they come across the line. A big wide injury right there for Schneider as he nearly goes into the grass.
Yeah, Davis went even wider coming out of turn number 1. So Riley Davis gives up some time at the end of the lap. He had closed up a little bit, now loses some gap, closes back up a little better through turn number 3 than the race leader, Tegan Schneider. But such a tight racetrack here, tough to make some passes. I think we'll see a little more elbows up racing in the more experienced 206 seniors. For now, though, we're past the halfway marker. 3 minutes and some change into this one. 2 laps when it elapses. And down to turn number 2, James Stropko is closing in on Riley Davis for that second spot. They'll come out of the hairpin here this time, half a car length back.
This is the track we've seen that if you respect it and make sure you hit your marks, you can run very strong races and finish strong. If you make a mistake, it will punish you severely, and we saw that even in the last race with our 206 sportsmen. As they come out of the first corner across the front straight or back straightaway here, we're going to see Stropko putting more pressure on the 866 Cosmic of Riley Davis.
Yeah, Riley Davis, that purple, white, and pink machine, takes a look over the shoulder really quickly and still sees a little bit of a cushion back to James Stropko. We haven't seen much passing. The only pass really made was Logan Upton back for 4th, taking advantage of Logan Stockdale, dropping a tire out of this specific corner, that final turn on the racetrack, coming down the front stretch to turn number 1. And they're all back even apart once again. In fact, fastest of the 3. Give it to Riley Davis in second. When Riley's able to get by himself, he's able to put good laps in. But for Riley Davis, he needs to be a little better when running in behind the tire tracks of Tegan Schneider. This time by a minute and a half plus 2 laps to go. Out of the final turn, down the front straightaway. 2 car lengths the difference between the pair. And a good lap at a 27.411 for Riley Davis. He'll close in, being able to hold a tighter line through turn 2, a better line out of 3. Didn't get the best exit this time, but he closes a little more to Tegan Schneider.
If it wasn't for that small mistake Riley Davis made early in this race, he could have had an opportunity to get around and get the race lead here, but so far he's running out of time as it's just now under a minute plus 2 laps.
Closer than he's been, though, most of the session. A good line through turn number 2 to the bumper for Riley Davis. He's just got to get some confidence to really send it on the brakes. Maybe this time in the outer loop. Got a little run to the back. Not going to be enough. Tegan Schneider felt the pressure, went a little low going into the corner. Holds him back for now. 30 seconds. That'll give them enough time, I think, to get around for another one before the 2 to go signal hits. Here comes the pairing down the front straightaway. Riley Davis closing in. Tegan Schneider with a mistake. The last lap slowed down a couple tenths. Over to turn number 3. Still no change. It's also still a 3-car pack behind them that's shuffling around. Logan Upton, Logan Stockdale, Jack Haydu, 4th, 5th, and 6th are all nose to tail in the second pack. Across the stripe here, just in time to beat that 2 to go signal. So it'll be 3 laps to go as they head down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Jack Haydu has been really picking up the pace here as they come across the front straightaway. A little tap of the helmet right there for the number 831 of Logan Stockdale, telling him we can try to close the gap, but it's not going to work for him this time. But here comes Haydu with a big run out of the hairpin.
Yeah, Jack Haydu's got an opportunity maybe on Logan Upton. Not going to capitalize. Riley Davis, while he went backwards, lost some time. That leader's gotten away. 2 to go. 2 more laps around for maybe Jack Haydu to try and make something happen here on this tight short track at Thompson Kart Raceway. Down the front stretch for 206 Junior. No change there through turn number 2. A little bit wide and losing some grip is Logan Stockdale. They'll go side by side. Nothing going to happen as they head to the back hairpin in the outer loop again. Riley Davis still up the road. That's that lead pack of 3. That's the second group we are on right now. It's given a little bit of room for Logan Stockdale to get away. White flag in the air. 1 to go for Tegan Schneider through turn number 2.
Schneider just has been smooth and consistent, very few mistakes, and that was able to keep him ahead of Riley Davis for this entire duration as they head to the outer loop for the final time.
Out of the final hairpin here, he'll go through the dogleg, across the line. Tegan Schneider takes the pre-final win in 206 Junior. Davis second, Stropko third. Came close there at the end, couldn't get much. Stockdale, Logan Upton, Jack Haydu, George Ma, and Isabella Timothy will round off the field here in 206 Junior. So that'll be another one done, and an all-clean one as well. Impressive for the 8 drivers in 206 Junior to survive the action on the racetrack. Last driver across the line, Isabella Timothy, will put the last lap in a little bit further back. Timothy may go 1 lap down in that main event. One thing to note here, the policy will be, of course, to let the lappers continue until they go 2 laps down. Once they go 2 laps down, their race is pretty much all but out the window. That's when the black flag will come out and they will clear the racetrack of lap traffic, but they'll let everybody go 1 to 2 laps down through the race and continue turning laps here at the Regional Ohio Sprint Series. The engine's coming to life, though, back for the 206 senior class, the biggest division here this weekend at 14 drivers strong, and that doesn't sound like a lot at most racetracks. That will be a lot here at the 26-second Thompson Kart Raceway here, Taylor.
It really is. This is going to be exciting, and we could possibly see, in the final race at least, where our leaders could have to battle with lap traffic, which can make it very interesting to see where these drivers will set their cars in order to get around him.
Well, a big and healthy 206 senior group heads onto the circuit to begin the outlap and slowly form up at that back outer loop for the start. 14 total drivers here in this one. Let's find where the field's at and get set for action as they begin to form up behind your race leader. It's a Comet Eagle on the front row here in the 206 senior class, piloted by none other than Dylan White. Henry Wheeler's Beer Alart will join him on the outside of row 1. Then it'll be Harbier Doss on the inside of row 2, alongside, I believe, Jerry Fandry on that AEM Karting EOS kart. They will slowly make their way out of turn number 1, the biggest class here this weekend at 14, into the tram lines at Thompson Kart Raceway. This short track, this bull ring, it's going to be elbows up, short track style racing. And let's see what turns 1 and 2 looks like as they go down into turn number 2 on the start. Little bit of contact further back as a few drivers get tangled up. It's still clean, still good. They're all going to get out of the turn 3 hairpin. Jerry Fandry was trying to find a way low. Peyton Polaric's going to get to the inside into the hairpin, then cut him a break and around in the back. That's going to take up 3-4 cars all the way in the back outer loop there. A number of drivers. Cody Lindstrom's involved. More involved further back. As down the front straightaway we go for lap number 1. Dylan White, your leader.
And then it's going to be Javier Das in second. Henry Wheeler and Jerry Fandry, your top 4, as they make it over to the hairpin. Your top 4 starting to separate, but Fandry is trying to find an opening to get around Henry Wheeler as they head over to the outer loop. One car stuck out there out of there by the barriers.
And I believe that was yeah, it might have been Lindstrom. Matthew Darlison pulled into the scale line here with a heavily bent axle. He'll retire early. Lindstrom, the driver, further off on the far side, that was also not able to continue. We're down to 12. Here's a battle on the racetrack for third. Henry Wheeler over Jerry Fandry. Then there's Peyton Polaric, Glenn Hobbs, Keegan Widmeyer, and a big group there in the midfield as Fandry tries to find a way around Henry Wheeler for position number 3. Wheeler on that Charles Leclerc chassis with the Beer Alart red and white suit, and Jerry Fandry on that blue and white AEM Karting EOS kart in the 4th position, trying to hunt him down. All the while, Dylan White with a healthy lead on that 972 Comet Eagle over Harbier Doss's chassis. They'll exit out. Here's Polaric over Glenn Hobbs for position number 5 to the back hairpin. Big diver from Glenn Hobbs. He'll go by. Polaric crosses him up, not enough to get back around, and he drops back to that 6th position. So first on-screen pass we've seen, it is, oh no, that was Polaric getting around Ben Smith. My apologies. Peyton Polaric getting himself into position number 5. Glenn Smith back to position number 6. So a good move from Peyton Polaric.
Those two Tony karts are putting one heck of a show right now as we pick up a little bit further, the 985 of Glenn Hobbs right there in the 7th position for the moment as he works his way towards the outer loop, heading through the dog leg, but a good battle between your drivers in 5th and 6th with the two Tony karts.
Yeah, Peyton Polaric, P5, Ben Smith, P6, headed through turn at number 2. They've got a little bit of ground to make up to the next pack here. We're still just under the halfway marker. Back from them, that's that Kart Republic of Glenn Hobbs, Keegan Widmeyer, Carson Smith, Aiden Chappell, your top 10, as there's a pass further back. Keaton Widmeyer going by, I believe, on Glenn Hobbs. There might have been Carson Smith getting by, or was an attempt at least. Peyton Polaric, then Ben Smith, and it was Widmeyer on Carson Smith. It was Widmeyer on Hobbs. He tried, couldn't get it done. It was a good send in that outer loop. Couldn't get by. Peyton Polaric still holding 50 here with Ben Smith on screen, and nothing really shaken up front. Henry Wheeler still 3rd healthily over Jerry Fandry. Junior Harbier Doss is about a half second up the road. Dylan White leads the way by 1.1 seconds with a halfway marker in, and a little tire drop there from Keegan Widmeyer as he trails Glenn Hobbs trying to get that 7th spot away.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of a hand signal right there from Keegan on Glenn Hobbs telling him, hey, focus on ahead. Let's try to hunt down the 2 ahead of us and maybe put on a 4-horse race for the 4th and 5th position as they come through the back half of the course. Right here we see Henry Wheeler and Javier Das. That battle's starting to get a little bit closer as Wheeler is setting some blistering lap times.
Yeah, Henry Wheeler with a good lap that time. Picked up the pace, closed the gap about a 1/10 of a second on Javier Das, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a pretty big bit, although he had a little bobble there coming out of turn 3, dropped the tire at the edge of the grass. And then let's watch them through this final section here. This is the toughest part from what we've heard on this alternate layout they're running. This final corner is just on the ragged edge of hanging on without dropping a wheel. We've seen already drivers go off in cadet and junior as well. Nothing yet in senior mistake-wise with a little under 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. But Javier Das safely in second. Henry Wheeler, 4 cars back there in third. The gap to Dylan White is still pretty massive, 1.2 seconds up the road as they go through the dogleg again, 1.5 minutes to go.
Javier Das being very smooth and consistent here as they come out of turn number 1. We've seen a lot of drivers hitting that curb, and the car just bounces almost right to the ragged edge on the edge of the track. So really great car control here in order to hold on to their position. But here comes Henry Wheeler with a big head of steam to close up on Javier Das.
Yeah, Henry Wheeler getting a little bit closer than he's been most of this session. Kind of clean the tires back off that one mistake we saw back at turn 3. Coming to the line this time here as they cross the start line. They already crossed the timing loop. An update on laps. Wheeler that time was a 0.5 better than Das, both still with a 1/10 to find to catch Dylan White. He's consistently at that 36.8 second range. These guys in the 38.9s. They're a 1.5 seconds away now. 40 seconds plus 2 laps to go. Wheeler closer even more so. Can he get himself up to second at the end of this pre-final? It'll be some good points if he can get around his former teammate in Javier Das. Down to turn number 2, a car length back.
He's got a good opening here and a good run. May he look to the inside here in the hairpin, not able to send it in. Let's see what he can do over towards the outer loop. Gets a good run, gets a little bit of a toe as they head towards the outer loop. Not close enough to make anything work.
Yeah, he's got to be on the bumper here. The braking zone still so short in the low horsepower classes. How about this move inside of the last corner? Nicely done. Henry Wheeler catches Javier Das by surprise. He'll take over second. This time by will be 2 laps to go here in 206 senior. Henry Wheeler up to second. Das back to third. And the Bureau Art driver now can set his sights on Dylan White up the road. They've caught lap traffic already of one driver further back. That was Everett Hunter, who has gone 1 lap down in 11th. So down across the loop here, 2 to go. They'll have to navigate the lap traffic. This will be a little bit tricky. The lapper trying to give way. He'll let the leaders have the inside. Wheeler has to take a little more narrow line than Das does. It brings Das close. Not close enough to make anything happen in the outer loop.
No, it's not going to work for him this time. Javier might have to try to pull the same thing that Henry Wheeler did. If we see an opening for him, white flag in the air, he's got one more shot to make it work.
Little wiggle onto the front stretch, but Wheeler keeps the gap steady. Dylan White about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds now up the road from these 2 drivers for second and third. It'll be one final chance in that outer loop, if anything, but it won't be enough. Das not close enough, and coming to the line for Dylan White. He'll take the heat race victory here in the pre-final. Henry Wheeler will hold off Javier Das as they cross the line.
Jerry Fandry will get 4th position. Then it's going to be Peyton Polaric in 5th. Ben Smith, Glenn Hobbs, Keegan Widmeyer, Carson Smith, and Aiden Chappell, your top 10.
So that does it. A good little battle, a good drive forward for Henry Wheeler to end up in second. Fandry was looking for a little more, couldn't find it on the AEM EOS kart in that 4th position. Peyton Polaric again had that good move on Ben Smith. So a couple of passes, but nothing too crazy, and 3 classes just like that all wrapped up. Don't go anywhere here. More to go as we've got still 6 classes on the ticket for the pre-finals here this morning. So now we go to a brand new class of the Ohio Sprint Series and the regional market up here in the Midwest. It's the Tillotson 225 RS power plants here. This is an alternate 4-cycle engine with a little bit more horsepower than the Briggs & Stratton 206, is a couple more cc's. 12 horsepower on these ones instead of the normal 9. Chase Buscaglia and Ian Quinn. Buscaglia entered as a junior, Quinn entered as a senior in it, and we have one more that'll join them as well. But these two are going to have some fun, I believe, for us here, knowing that they don't have any drivers further back to really fall into. Aaron Melberg is the other 206 Tillotson driver entered, and Buscaglia, with the lighter weight in the junior, gets the jump off the line down to turn number 2, and he'll lead the way.
He's going to try to see, and here's a big send right here by the 997 of Ian Quinn. Going to try to see what he can do as they head over towards the outer loop. He's going to try to go around the outside, crosses over to the inside. These two are going to put on a good show for us here.
Yeah, this will be fun to watch here. Ian Quinn versus Chase Buscaglia coming onto the front straightaway. Already Buscaglia is going to block low. He's going to try and pin him to the high side. Quinn's got to find a way around it, maybe put the bumper to him. Let's see over in turn 3. Buscaglia just low lining everywhere. Quinn trying to keep the speed up. Let's see what he can do to the outer loop section. He gets a nose down on the inside. Oh, it just gets the door closed there by Buscaglia.
These two are going to be so fun, and they're already putting on a good show. We haven't even completed 2 laps yet as they come across the line. Buscaglia holds on to the race lead once again, but here comes Quinn. Try to just find an opening to get around. He'll go to the top side.
And he crosses him over. Nicely done, Ian Quinn now gets to the lead. Buscaglia gives the bumper to him there in turn 3 as he gets kind of bottled up, and Ian Quinn gets it sideways there through turn 4. He'll start to go to the low side. This is going to be a fun display of racecraft here, maybe a little bit over the edge, but they're also, again, just enjoying themselves out there. But for the kids on the fence line, this will be fun to watch and fun to learn from as Quinn now goes on a defensive class to the low side. It'll let Buscaglia get closer to the rear bumper here. Let's see what Chase can do. He's going to send it from way back there in turn 3. It'll hurt the momentum, but he's got the inside and the dog leg at 4. They go side by side to the back. How deep can he go on the brakes? Quinn around the outside. Oh, all the way to the edge of the racetrack.
Ian Quinn tried everything to stay on the outside. Couldn't make it work. Has to do it all over again as they head down the long back straightaway here. And you're already starting to see some blocking getting ready to set themselves up. Quinn tried to go to the outside, thought better of it. Crossover possible heading into the hairpin.
Yeah, once again, setting him up. Buscaglia just leaving no door opened at all, although he almost does there as he sends it low. Quinn goes high again to try and keep momentum up. Can't stay alongside him there as they go to the dog leg in the back. And this bull ring giving us a lot to talk about here in this 2-kart class. We're only a couple minutes in. Quinn got a nice crossover. He gets a nose down inside into turn number 2, and he'll take back the top spot.
Back up in front of the field. Now let's see what defensive driving Ian Quinn can do over Buscaglia as they head out of the hairpin over towards the dog leg, working their way through. Here comes Buscaglia with the high side run. He might try something. Crosses over. He's got the inside run.
Yeah, Chase Buscaglia through the final few turns. We'll go on to the front stretch. Quinn a little bit more sideways in that last turn. Buscaglia's got a run. Follows Quinn low. Not close enough to do anything in turn number 2 as Quinn goes wide, but having a blast. This time Quinn's going to not leave that door cracked in turn 3. He'll try to keep it closed off. Let's see if Buscaglia, bumper, looking, not going to go. Now going to go late. Oh, nearly contact. Door to door coming out of the outer loop. Quinn holds the lead.
And you know what, with these two drivers racing so hard there, Quinn, how about that pass heading into turn number 1 for Chase Buscaglia? Take over the race lead, but Quinn's going to cross him over, back over into the corner, retakes it.
Yeah, Buscaglia still the leader there coming out of that final turn, and then lost it coming on to the front straightaway with that aggressive move. Let's see in the back, he's going to send it on the inside of Ian Quinn, and he'll get through again. A late move there. Quinn tucks back in line. Now Quinn to the outside going in the last turn. That'll hurt Buscaglia's exit, and he knows it, so he tried to break it more on the inside, and Quinn couldn't get low before running into the back of him. Buscaglia back to the lead.
Buscaglia really putting on a stellar drive. Ian Quinn putting on a star-studded event here in your T225 RS Junior, Senior, and Master category as they work their way out of the outer loop side by side, heading over into the dogleg.
Great battle practice for both drivers here. Buscaglia tried to block it low. Keeps momentum, hurts his momentum. Look how much Quinn's going to get a run on the outside. He'll send it deep through turn 2. He can stay alongside there. He'll get the inside into 3. Buscaglia closes it. Oh, man, Ian Quinn cut him a big break there as Buscaglia shut the door while he was already halfway through.
It's just a matter of time of how many times they have come so close to making contact but yet have not done so, as these two are looking back and forth at each other, trying to see what they are needing to do to put on more of a show for us here. And here comes the Big Lock sidewinding down this straightaway, heading over into turn 2.
Yeah, they're also going to have to deal with the lap traffic of Aaron Melberg here in a moment, so we'll see how they navigate that and if anyone gets to use Aaron as a pick. Buscaglia low, Quinn high. Buscaglia opens up last second here. You could call all kinds of different little mini penalties on it, but they're just having a good time. Now they're going to get to the lapper. Buscaglia to the high side. Quinn has to go wide as well. Doesn't affect the race. Quinn's going to get a nose low. Buscaglia looks at him, checks it low, blocks it low. Quinn's got to find a way by here with a minute plus 2 laps to go in the pre-final.
He's got a lot of speed to carry on as he'll look at cross over to the inside, but doesn't have the preferred line heading over towards the outer loop. Now crosses to the inside, goes around to get some momentum built up, and tries to go side by side down the short chute.
Almost there. Has to tuck back in. Ian Quinn's cut the young buck, Chase Buscaglia, a lot of breaks in this one. Buscaglia's kind of chopped the nose off. I'm curious if he at any point in the pre-final wants to put the bumper to him, or maybe he waits till the main event. Just staying right there as Buscaglia goes low. Quinn stays on the tail, coming through 3 and 4. A little bit of a gap now this time.
Here they go over into the outer loop. Buscaglia holds on to the race lead, but here comes Ian Quinn around the outside, completes the pass. How about that? And retakes the race lead.
Now with 10 seconds plus 2 laps to go, Quinn goes on the defensive. That was a perfect move there. 2 to go signal given. Buscaglia needs to get back around him through turn 3. Chase Buscaglia can't get the exit. Quinn now going to stay low to block into the outer loop. Buscaglia high. Can he do a crossover like Quinn did? He'll get alongside, but he won't be able to get there. Maybe something in the last turn. Quinn's going to cover the low side. He stays low there. White flag in the air. 1 to go as they come across the start line. Half a lap remaining. Ian Quinn the leader.
Here they go through the bowl and now heading into the hairpin for the final time in your pre-final action. A little bit of breathing room now for the first time for Ian Quinn over the rest of Chase Buscaglia as they head to the outer loop for the final time. Will Chase try anything? Not close enough.
Crossover move, but it won't be enough to hold. Ian Quinn will win the pre-final in Tillotson Senior. Buscaglia makes it fun there at the end. Gets alongside, gets through, but doesn't get him at the line. It's 500ths at the gap there for Ian Quinn and Chase Buscaglia. Having some fun, getting the elbows up and putting on a very entertaining little race there as they enjoy themselves here. Chase Buscaglia, elbows higher than his ears as they both take it into this. These two are having way too much fun at the go-kart track. At the end of the day, that's what the Ohio Sprint Series is all about. A lot of, as we say here with the Ohio Sprint Series, the tagline, back to the roots. It's hardcore grassroots racing action and a lot of fun, and I think we're going to see a quick shake of the hands there for Chase Buscaglia and Ian Quinn. That was a blast to watch. That was a lot of fun, and I hope they're going to do just that here for the rest of the weekend.
Rest of the weekend, rest of the season, hopefully bring in some more drivers for this class because this is just exciting to watch here.
Yeah, it was fun there. You see one of the mechanics, Gavin Griffin, chanting, fight, 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 as he walked into the scale line. And, man, these two, good showing. How about a class with a crazy old man, the 206 Masters, coming up next here from Buckeye, Ohio, the Ohio Sprint Series here from Thompson Kart Raceway. 206 Masters onto the racetrack now for the first time today for their pre-final, and so we'll see what the veterans can do to give us some entertaining racing action as they begin to form up in that back outer loop section and come across the line here 2 by 2 to start their first session of the day. Brandon Bell had the fastest single lap time in the 6:44. It was good enough of a 3-lap average to keep him on the pole as well. Michael Davis, Kent McCloskey, Eric Bond, Jim Johns, John Sabota, all within 4/10 on their single best lap time here as they come onto the line. And here we go, getting set to go racing for 206 Masters. At the stripe, we're under power, we're green, down to turn number 2.
Already side-by-side battle for the race lead here, and as Bell gets advantage over the field, a little bit of contact as they head into the hairpin on that inside lane. But for the moment, Bell, Davis, and Bond, your top 3.
Yeah, they'll head through the back outer loop section here. Still single file, and no changes there. Let's see them come across the line to put the first full-speed lap in the books here. Brandon Bell, Michael Davis, Eric Bond, 1, 2, 3. They're side-by-side back for the 5th position here as the field heads through turn number 2. Second and third are the closest at the moment there. You've got these 6:32 of Eric Bond. Actually, third and fourth here. He's going to come under fire from Kent McCloskey, who goes down the inside and gets clear. McCloskey side-by-side with Bond back for third. The leader's headed to the final turn. He'll hold it, and so Kent McCloskey up into position number 3. Meanwhile, Michael Davis is closing in for the top spot on Brandon Bell. So while the battle for third is just heated up and traded, I think we're going to see a challenge for the lead here sooner rather than later because Michael Davis is on a charge forward right now.
Michael Davis puts the pressure on Brandon Bell as they come out of the outer loop, heading over towards the short chute. He's going to get right up on the back bumper. That's 699. I believe it's a Charles Leclerc kart. Gets a good run on the back straight, a little tap of the helmet there for Bell to try to see if him and Davis can pull away from the field.
Yeah, here they go through turn number 2. Brandon Bell under pressure here for Michael Davis as they exit out of turn number 3 and 4 and head to the back here with 2 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this one. Let's see them come on out, and they'll go towards the front stretch once again over the timing loop, put another lap in the books. Michael Davis tracked him down. Now the pace is kind of evened out there at a 27-7 apiece for the two of them headed to turn number 2.
Yeah, but right now Bell still has a small advantage over them, but here comes Davis. He looks to the inside as they come out of the hairpin, gets a great run as they work over to the outer loop.
Yeah, really good run for Michael Davis. I'm surprised he didn't try and send it on the inside. We saw proven there with Ian Quinn and Chase Buscalia. You can definitely send it from a half car back in that back hairpin to get alongside someone. The same in turn 3, but a little wide as well for Brandon Bell coming on the front stretch out of turn number 1. Wide through 2. Michael Davis is close. He's just not able to really kind of get that nose on the inside, and he's pinching the exit a little bit out of turn number 3. If he can open his hands a little more, I think he might get a better launch because he lost some time going to that outer loop this time by. We'll get the halfway marker in. 3 minutes down, 3 minutes, well, almost down. 3 minutes and a couple seconds still to go here as we are working our way through this pre-final. And while he's getting trapped behind Brandon Bell, Kent McCloskey is ripping out some burners. A 27.6 the last couple laps to the leaders, 27.7s or 27.8s. Kent McCloskey has tracked them down to less than a second away there from P3.
He's 0.6 of a second right now behind Michael Davis and closing. Let's see what he can do as they come across the line, this time by under 3 minutes plus 2 laps. Last time, McCloskey at 27.8, 2/10 off the pace of Michael Davis and a 10th off of Bell. So he lost a little bit of time, but let's see if he can try to improve it. Here comes Davis with a big run.
Yeah, Davis closed up big time out of 2, just didn't want to send it in 3. He's going to get a run on him down the backstretch here. He comes for the lead. Michael Davis, not enough. Not enough confidence there on the brakes to send it alongside. He backs out of the move, and the Comet Eagle blacked out 6:44. Brandon Bell holds. And with every botched move there, it just brings Kent McCloskey a little bit closer. That time, McCloskey, 27.5. 2/10 better than the leader. 3/10 better than second. We're down to 9/10 here between the top 3.
This is going to get exciting between your top 3 with 2 minutes left to go, plus 2 laps as they head over to the outer loop. And there you see Bell being smooth and consistent. McCloskey trying to pick up the pace just a little bit, but not enough to make it move here on Davis as they come out of turn number 1. Davis with a good run down the backstretch.
Yeah, Brandon Bell is always a little bit wide. He's dancing the outer edge in the first corner, and he's keeping the momentum up. His line's a little better out of turn number 2, and 3 than Michael Davis. But again, he's on the ragged edge here in turn 1. I don't think Davis wants to take that risk of maybe dropping a tire in the grass this early in the day, even if it's for the lead. Maybe hold that in his cards there for the main event. As we come down the front stretch now, Brandon Bell's picked the pace back up with that pressure subsiding. A 27.5 for Brandon Bell, that time by a minute plus 2 laps to go here.
Minute plus 2 laps as they come across the line. We should be seeing here if Davis can try anything. Once again, not close enough to make it work. I think Davis might be running out a little bit of steam or trying to cool the tire off to try to make one last-ditch effort later in the race.
Again, it's Brandon Bell on that blacked-out 644 Comet Eagle who leads the way. Michael Davis looking low in 2, not enough to get by on the white and black machine behind him. Then it's Kent McCloskey there, third in line, just out of frame and sometimes into frame depending how tight or wide we go. He's roughly been a second back, more or less, this entire second half of the pre-final. As they come to the turn number 1, 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go. That'll put us right on the bumper to potentially go 2 to go this time by, or 2 to go next time, indeed. Next time by for the 2 to go. So we'll see 3 to go at the line for the leaders. The 644, Brandon Bell, still with a good launch. This time not as good of a launch out of turn 3. Can anything be done at the backstretch? Michael Davis to the bumper, no change.
No change yet, coming to 2 to go. See the flagman with the popsicle sticks coming up here as they come out of the final corner. Nope, we're going to be just shy of it, 3 to go.
Yeah, just in under the time limit there. 3 laps to go. It'll hit 0 here this lap. That'll put 2 to go next time by. So Brandon Bell, Michael Davis, Kent McCloskey, 1, 2, 3. Davis again, good exit out of 3. Gets close, just doesn't have the wit there to try and make a move in the outer loop. But that's right now been his only opportunity because he closes up through turns 2 and 3. He's decent there out of turn number 1. Can't do much on this front stretch. He's not really good enough, I think, out of 2 alone to get something into 3. There you look, just didn't do it. This is, if he can get out of 3 better, that outer loop's been the best place for him to make moves to go by. And he almost got it done a few laps prior, wasn't able to do it. Now this time by, another lap down here for 206 Masters across the line. Brandon Bell along with Michael Davis. White flag waving, 1 to go. Davis with the biggest gap up to Brandon Bell we've seen all day.
Really big gap right here as we're seeing Bell trying to stretch it out, just making sure he hits his mark, stays ahead of Davis. Davis, though, gets a good run down the short chute. He'll look to the inside. Will he send it? No. Bell shuts the door on him, goes a little bit wide, though. Davis trying to capitalize on it, but not close enough to make anything work.
Brandon Bell, your 206 Masters pre-final winner. And again, Michael Davis sent it more than he did earlier in the race. Just couldn't quite get there. Good shine of respect. He didn't want to take him out. He wanted to battle with it. And that's always cool to see the sportsmanship here in 206 Masters. And Brandon Bell, that right there looked like a sigh of relief saying, we made it. Survived that one. Need to find more speed to get away from these guys in the main event later today. So now for the Rotax Junior, Senior, and Tag 125 Senior division here with 4 drivers. We've got Henry Wheeler that's lining up on the pole. And we'll let them make their way around the final turn, then through turn number 1 and come to the green. It's Lauren Getz, Kellen Colquitt, Ian Quinn. Quinn on the Bureau Art at the back there in the bright yellow helmet. Henry Wheeler on the point, so Ian Quinn's got work to do to work his way forward. Lauren Getz gets a bit of a jump there. Quinn jumps into third. It's Kellen Colquitt lets him through, and now Quinn will quickly go by on Lauren Getz there to get to second. And let's see if Ian Quinn can begin to track down Henry Wheeler here in this Rotax Junior and Tag 125 Senior and Rotax Senior class. And I believe we just got seniors on the racetrack here. You've got Henry Wheeler aboard a Senior Rotax, Kellen Colquitt aboard the Senior Rotax, and Ian Quinn aboard the Senior Rotax as well. Chase Buscalia was on it, but he is no longer on the racetrack here after qualifying. So it's Wheeler versus Quinn headed out of turn number 3 and 4, headed down to the outer loop.
As they work their way through, still quite a bit of a gap right now over Wheeler and Quinn, about 2 kart lengths, maybe 3 as they come across the start-finish line for the moment. And currently half a second separates your top 2 as they head over into turn 2.
But Quinn was faster, so Ian Quinn with a bit of extra seat time running the Tillotson class. We got yellow flags waving around, went, right in front of the leaders. That was Kellen Colquitt out of turn number 3. Spun it on the outside edge of the racetrack, was able to get back going, or at least pull it back on now. Will be 2 laps down. Let's see what the laps are like this time here for Henry Wheeler versus Ian Quinn as they cross the line. Wheeler half a second up on Quinn. They were even, dead even on laps that time, both apiece at a 24.5.
Yeah, Colquitt and his CRG is out of the race here for your pre-final event, but as we watch the battle for the race lead, here comes Quinn with a big head of steam out of the outer loop as they work their way through the short chute. Henry Wheeler, though, being consistent, hitting his marks. Quinn, though, a big run out of turn 1.
Yeah, big run for Ian Quinn. He'll pull within a car length, goes about a 1/10.5 better as after last time. So really good run through turn number 2 on those Bureau Art Rotax power plants. Ian Quinn to Henry Wheeler. Let's see it to the outer loop. Gets almost onto a bumper there in the center of the corner. So he's really making some headway here as we hit 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this pre-final for Rotax Senior.
The 2 Burrell Art machines putting on a good show here for the battle for the race lead as they come out of turns 2 and 3, heading over to the hairpin. Tight line here, white lining it around the circuit for Henry Wheeler.
Yeah, it was narrow, not super narrow. Quinn kind of got bottled up in the center of the corner. The cart hopped on him as he went to put the power down. And the Rotax Max package, it has a very hefty mid-range power band on the curve. It's not a linear power curve, so you see that kind of rubber band effect happen a little bit where it lacks some top-end speed but also lacks that low speed that they'll have coming out of the corner. And once you get into that good range, it's like a rocket ship. And these ones, again, with the power valve, with the turbo they have on the motors as well, as it's commonly known on the power curve for the Rotax Max Seniors here. That's why you kind of see them kind of come together and then split apart a little bit on the gap. They net out about the same. Quinn was a couple hundredths better last time to make up for the lap before, so he's back within striking distance. But again, him taking the curb there, going a little bit more narrow in turn 3, just slightly hurts his line, and he's deep on the bump brakes there in the outer loop, almost close enough to make something happen. Here they go to turn number 1. He's going to send it on the inside. Wheeler has to give way, and Ian Quinn goes to the lead. Henry Wheeler back to second here at the halfway mark.
Second time we've seen a pass going into turn 1 like that here amongst the front of the field, as Quinn now seeing if he can stretch it out over Wheeler as they head over to the outer loop.
Yeah, Ian Quinn here, a car length up on Henry Wheeler now. Let's see, like you said, can he stretch it out? Can he pull away? He looked to be a little bit quicker at parts, but now he's going to show his cards as Wheeler gets to follow his line around the racetrack. Maybe learn a little bit. Identical setups for both of these guys here on those Bureau Art Rotax Max Senior packages, so they're on similar equipment. Wheeler's got a run coming into the back loop now. He'll take advantage. New leader Henry Wheeler back through. Quinn pulled to the outside, couldn't get by, and Wheeler's going to cover that last turn 1 corner, that last turn after the loop, or first turn after the loop, last turn on the start line, just keeping him at bay. So nothing there, nothing in 3, under 2 minutes to go in the final third of this one, and Quinn really bobbled up the exit there. He lost some time.
Really good effort here as they head out of the outer loop. Quinn trying to find where he had that pace to keep and get around Henry Wheeler, but Wheeler now stretch it out to about a kart length. But here comes Quinn with a big run out of turn 1.
Yeah, big run. Car length back there for Ian Quinn. to Henry Wheeler. So as they head to turn number 3, still first and second as they come out of that inner hairpin. Quinn closing back up for what he lost a lap ago, and it'll be enough to maybe mount one more charge here before this race is all done and dusted with a minute plus 2 laps to go.
Coming out here across the start-finish line, big run out of turn number 1 for both your top 2 as they make the run into turn 2. As we see here, not a lot of changings for the moment, but I see Quinn is just trying to set up another pass here. He's just waiting for that right time to make it work.
Henry Wheeler a little bit wider line through 2 and through a couple other corners as well. That rear end sliding a little bit more for him, whereas Quinn's got a bit of a tighter line in some of those sections, and he looks a little more planted, but sometimes a bit too planted, and the kart gets overstuck from center on exit there. You see that with the run that Wheeler just got out of turn 2, and again with the run out of turn number 3, him opening the arc a little more benefits the exit, but at times he'll slide, just go past the grip limit there, going to the outer edge of the racing line, and Quinn can take advantage. So advantage back to Henry Wheeler here now. 2 to go. Next time by as the timer will hit 0.
Coming up to 2 laps to go here. Wheeler just looking to make sure he can hold his position. Quinn has a good run, but just can't find the opening he needs. He may have to try to make one happen as they come out of the outer loop down the short chute for the 2 to go signal coming up here.
Yeah, he got to the rear bumper there through the outer loop that time. Here they come down the long backstretch, I guess, into turn number 2. Quinn again lower, Wheeler higher. Then out of 3. This is where Quinn's struggled, and sometimes he's been good enough. This time was better. Still not enough over back to turn number 5. Nothing going to happen there. The white flag will wave this time by. Henry Wheeler's got one more lap to hang on as Ian Quinn continues to apply pressure.
Big pressure coming from Ian Quinn as they head down the backstretch over towards turn 2. Really good run for him, but can't find the opening. Willie tries something into the hairpin, not close enough. He will have to wait to see if he can try anything, but it might be too little too late.
Yeah, not a good exit there for Ian Quinn. That gap opened up to 2 car lengths. It'll hold all the way to the finish, and Henry Wheeler will take the pre-final win in Rotax Senior Max over Ian Quinn at the line. Lauren Getz will be the winner in the Tag 125 class. Kellum Colquitt did not continue after spinning off to the side over here in turn number 3, which will require a quick kart pickup. That'll give us a moment here to breathe on the air. When we come back, it'll be 3 more classes to close out the morning rotation of sessions. You've got your IAME 60cc minis, then KA 100 Junior and KA 100 Senior at the top, back end of the lineup. little bit of problems here to kick things off for Miami 60cc Mini, but luckily able to get back onto the racetrack, so that'll let the field form up here for some of the young guns competing on the two-stroke side, and we'll see a little bit of double duty, but a handful of different faces in this one. And again, this class we're going to keep our eye on. I believe we have one or two stragglers near at the back. The one at the back, Remy Boss, a little bit further off on the pace, so gonna potentially go a lap down. But good sportsmanship there to let the pole sitter get back into position. That's Cole Vetter in the 110. So they all form back up. And now we get set for the green over Logan McCloskey, Nicholas Lessiter, Anna McCrone, Remy Boss, all the field ready to go in green down to turn number 2, and we're underway. And McCrone off the bat will go into 4th. And your leader coming through turn number 3 will be Cole Vetter on the blue and yellow comp card in the 110.
Yeah, Logan McCloskey is right there as well, trying to get a good run out of the outer loop. Right there, Nicholas Leicester as well, having a good run in his Charles Leclerc kart as they come across the start-finish line. But Cole Vetter stretching it out big time over the rest of the field.
Yeah, Cole Vetter gets a nice and healthy lead there. The blue and black nitro kart of Logan McCloskey second. That black, white, and red of Nicholas Lessiter's Charles Leclerc kart there in third. That might be the tighter battle of the 5 that we see. We'll see if Anna McCrone can pick up the pace a little bit to close the gap to the top 3, but I don't know if anyone's going to have anything for Cole Vetter here today. He looks pretty good as they put 2 full laps complete here in a minute down, 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go in Miami 60cc Mini. We've got the Miami 100cc Junior on deck, Miami 100cc Senior. We're right on schedule right now, folks, for those of you watching online for the time schedule back home. Of course, that time schedule posted on the Ohio Sprint Series Facebook as well as the Ohio Sprint Series official Discord. Join the community by checking us out at Ohio Sprint Series on our website. That has the Discord information. So does our Facebook as well. All important messages go out through there. And, of course, we have the lunch break that'll take place here at the end of this is class number 7. 9 in total on the lineup, so we've got junior and senior 100cc to go. After that, it'll be about an hour and 20 minutes from the live stream side that we go dark. They've got a couple meetings set here during the lunch break, and then we go back green at 1:40 p.m. Eastern with the first of the main events that'll roll all the way till about 4:30. We wrap things up here for the day and then run it back tomorrow. And again, for those of you watching, if you want to make sure you can watch your favorite driver in the main events, all that main event live streaming beginning at 1:40 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be on KC Premium members only. So you need to go to youtube.com/kartchaser/join, or if you're watching through the YouTube right now on your browser, you'll have a join button right next to our channel underneath the picture, and you can hit that. It's $9.99 a month. It's $12.99 on iOS devices, but if you register on a PC or Android, you'll have the account on your iOS device, and you could save yourself $3 a month. We don't benefit from that, so there's a little bit of insider information to get yourself a couple bucks cheaper of a KC Premium membership. And, of course, it includes not just this weekend's main events, but all the main events for nearly every single national and regional event that we cover. We're in the middle of an 8-week continuous stretch of racing here this week, just in the middle of it all. Next week, the U.S. Pro Kart Series National Tour takes us state over to Newcastle Motorsports Park in Newcastle, Indiana, and that one going to be a big event, probably anticipating over 270 drivers, a massive pro-level event that we'll be covering just in a few days' time. We're watching Remy Boss right now get shuffled through his lap traffic. Unfortunately, it hurts Nicholas Lessiter on that Charles Leclerc kart. He had to get around him, and it cost him the most time. It's given Logan McCloskey a big gap. It's given Cole Vetter a big gap. It's spread everybody out here where they can focus on themselves a little bit lap time-wise, but we won't see much of a battle to the end of this one, Taylor.
No, we certainly won't, but it is a good opportunity for these young guns to learn the track, learn a bit more of how to race the line here around this track in Thompson for the Ohio Sprint Series. So it's just a good learning lesson, as well as also how to navigate around lap traffic.
Yeah, Cole Vetter still the leader there. There's the black and blue nitro kart behind him of Logan McCloskey in second. So here comes McCloskey at a turn at number 3. And Logan McCloskey's got a busy day here running double duty, but he's doing a good job. Second right now in the 60cc mini class to Cole Vetter. Lap time-wise, he needs about 4 to 5 tenths to find. His best lap is only 2 tenths off. But a racetrack like this one keeps you on your toes. You don't really have a lot of breathing room. The closest you get to kind of relax is this long back straightaway that we're watching Lessiter go down to turn number 2. The rest of that, you're up on the wheel every inch of this course here. So it's a quick and busy and active lap around Thompson Kart Raceway.
It really is. A lot of hairpins here around the circuit that can really showcase a great bit of racecraft amongst these drivers when they get close enough to each other. So we'll see how that goes when we go to the finals later on this afternoon for them.
Yeah, there goes McCloskey on through turn number 2. It's a minute and 20 seconds plus 2 laps to go. Cole Vetter still the leader there on that blue, black, and white comp kart machine. The fluorescent yellow is all out front. It's a perfect day in the works right now for Cole Vetter, one of the few drivers here this weekend that'll be able to claim that and is probably looking the best for it at a pole position in qualifying on individual lap, as well as the pole as the way it was scored with the 3-lap average, leading every lap so far. This pre-final here with a healthy gap back to this kid, the 102 of Logan McCloskey, and a bigger gap back to the rest of the field like Nicholas Lessiter and Anna McCrone. Remy Boss there already a couple laps down. He'll get pulled in. I believe you may have already been pulled in aboard the number 181 entry. There's Remy Boss across the line, so he's still only 2 laps down, but I think might have just gone 2 down. So if he goes 3, then he'll get pulled off the racetrack, Taylor.
Yeah, he will. And as we watch Logan McCluskey coming up here to try to get around the 181 of Remy Boss, he'll look to the inside, not close enough to make anything happen. We'll see if Remy pulls off the circuit this time as we get the warning here in a moment. 2 laps to go next time by, but I have to say, Cole Vetter and that comp kart having a pretty good year so far.
Yeah, what a weekend it was for the Comp Kart boys with their lead factory man here in the U.S. As around goes Remy Boss over in turn 2. He'll get stuck a little bit on the outside, but I think he's going to be able to recover. And he pulls back in line there. There goes Anna McCrone on by. But, yeah, the Comp Kart boys, what a weekend there to end off in Salt Lake City, Utah. Their first Pro National win in a couple of seasons. The first American Pro National win for their leading man, Oliver Hodgson. And he was fast all weekend there. The AVP-powered Comp Kart was super, super quick. And he was able to get himself a win on a weekend where he said it was at a track he really hadn't been that good at in the past, so it felt like it was even bigger to get a win there. And how about it for Cole Vetter here to keep the Comp Kart streak alive? It'd be a 6-day span if he could get a main event win here today.
It certainly is a 6-day span as we get the white flag here. One more time around for Cole Vetter as he works his way over towards the back half of the course, out of the hairpin, and heading over to the outer loop for the final time. Actually about to close in on Remy Boss as well to put him another lap down.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit awkward to get through, but he doesn't need to get by him. That gap is big enough out back, and it will be the 110. Cole Vetter wins the pre-final in IAME 60cc Mini. Logan McCloskey, Nicholas Lessiter, Anna McCrone, Remy Boss, your top 5 as they cycle on through. 2 classes still to go here before the lunch break during our free coverage of the Ohio Sprint Series. Again, a quick reminder to make sure you're a KC Premium member. Hit that join button on YouTube or go to youtube.com/kartchaser/join to make sure you're a member and signed up for the main events in the afternoon. IMEKA 100cc Junior on deck. Engines have come to life for the Miami 100cc Junior Division pre-final. So let's take a look where everyone will line up for this one as the field makes its way towards the back outer loop, and we'll slowly form up once again. Two more pre-finals still rolling here before we get into our lunch break, and then main events right on after. So we'll go back through the rotation once again. Let's take a look at how qualifying stacked up for the 100cc juniors. Well, when it came down to fast lap, it was all about Roman Felber in the 873, and I believe he'll get to lead the field to the green here once again as they come onto the front straightaway. It's Jack Haydu, Lucas Grusella, Cash Felber, Gabe Holen, and James Stropko, and they're green down to turn number 1. Only 5 made it onto the racetrack here to start this one, but as they're side by side back for third and fourth, a little bit of argy-bargy there, and the 899 Lucas Grusella had to give way and fall back into the 4th spot, while out front, I believe it is indeed Roman Felber, and I think Cash Felber might have followed him all the way up to 2nd.
Yeah, we'll have to see here as they come across the line. Roman Felber and Cash, the two brothers, are now 1 and 2 as they head off into turn number 2. James Stropka is going to maintain that 3rd position, and unfortunately for Jack Haydu, he did not get out on the track. He's now sitting 6th and has a lot of work to do to catch up.
But he'll have a little bit fresher tires for that main event later on today, so maybe that'll play into his hand if he can carve up the grid. Here's the battle for 2nd. This is the closest one we've got. Cash Felber, James Stropko, who had to start a little further back in the 877, but he was pretty consistent. He's all over Cash, who's trying to hunt down his brother in Roman, and he did last time by. 2/10 better for Cash Felber, so the top 3 are close, but all struggling for power as they put it down and got a little bit sideways coming out of turn number 3 that time, you could see.
You really see how much they're wheeling and dealing those carts around the circuit by how much power they're trying to put down, especially out of that hairpin coming through in turn 3 as they work down the backstretch heading over once again to that hairpin. You see the two Felber brothers and Stropka having a stellar fight for the lead.
Yeah, through 3 here. Again, you have James Stropko kind of being a loyal pusher right now on Cash Felber. He's just following him. In fact, that time kind of got into him a little bit incidentally in the outer loop hairpin, but he's not made a move by. I feel like he's had a couple opportunities to do it, and he just hasn't. So I'm curious if Stropko has the confidence or the belief that he's a little better than Cash Felber. He looks to me a little bit better. If he can get the launch he needs coming out of a corner and maybe make a move at the end of a straightaway. Instead, right now, he's pushing Cash around, and it's keeping the brothers aboard those all-white comp carts out in front here as we've got 2 minutes complete.
Well, as they come across the line right now, Roman Felber just dropped a 25.51 fastest lap of the race. His brother only about a 10th off the pace here, so those two are really starting to put on the show. But here comes Stropka, who's getting a good run out of the dogleg, heading over to the outer loop, gets right on the back bumper.
Yeah, so good stuff for James Stropko as he goes through turn 1 again. At least this time, Cash Felber picked it up. He was the fastest of himself and the brother in Roman, and he didn't pull away a ton from Stropko because Stropko faded away, but look how close they are now out of 3. Cash Felber's right there. Back hairpin. Does he send it? No, but he's going to put the bumper to his brother, and Roman's off the racetrack, and around he goes. Oh, no, Roman Felber out of the lead. Spins out off the bumper of his younger brother, and James Stropko gets around him as well. Stropko to the lead through 2.
That's going to be an interesting conversation when they come down towards the scales after this race. 2.5 minutes left to go, plus 2 laps just about, as they work down over towards the outer loop. But Stropka once again back up in front of the field for the first time in this race as he tries to pull away here from the driver of Cash Felber.
So now it is Cash Felber. Lucas Grusella moves up into 3rd. Felber 2nd. Gage Holen 4th. Roman Felber was able to get back going at the end. He got ahead of Jack Haydu, who did start but had a late start back in 6th. But as we saw earlier, James Stropko looked like he might have been quick enough to run away from the field. Now, thanks to the calamity that's happened, look at the gap he's pulled out already over Cash Felber. James Stropko is walking the dog in this one with 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
He is walking the dog and out to lunch here as he pulls away further and further, making almost 2 seconds, probably going to be over 2 seconds when they come across the line.
Yeah, it's a big gap here back to Cash there in the 8:11. And again, I don't know if there'll be a penalty. He was trying to be nice there with his brother Roman in the back outer loop, just kind of got into him at an awkward point, and then Roman went off the racetrack, tried to keep the power down, and around he went out of the lead, and now all the way down to 5th. Let's keep an eye on how much Roman Felber can make up time, though. He's catching up to Gage Holland back for 4th. I think he might be able to get there, so we'll see if we drop back a little further to find our former race leader in Roman Felber. If he's gone forward. Here's 3rd. That is Lucas Grusella going on by down through turn number 1. And further back from Grusella, 10 seconds back from the lead was Roman Felber and Gage Holland. So through, let's see where they are. Here they are down the front stretch. Here it is. This is for 4th on the racetrack. And through. That's a spot gain back up for Roman Felber on the 873. Gets around Gage Holland. And right in the mix there is Jack Haydu, also contending on that red speed, trying to make up some ground.
He has been able to make up a whole lot of time to catch up to the tail end of this field. He was at least half a lap down at one point when the start of the race happened.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there. Just can't really do anything with it. He got too much speed, nowhere to go, back for position number 5. So let's see. Got a little run again, just not timing that run nice enough to make the pass on position number 5 as they come out of turn number 3 and head towards the back. So, again, it's Jack Haydu there on the gray helmet in the black and red speed, the white and red 851. That's Gage Holland on the Beryl Art. Coming onto the front stretch, Holland goes a little wide, but Haydu, again, pinched the exit, trying to be nice, trying not to get into him. He's pinching his own exits off, and it's taking away any chance he gets to make a pass.
It really is, and it's messing with your momentum quite a bit for Jack Haydu, so he's got to be careful with how much he's pinching his cart around the corners here. Gets a good run off of it because there you see Holden go a little bit wide off that outer loop.
This time, though, they're running low on laps. Now a little closer for Haydu. There goes Roman Felber on by. We'll pick up the battle again for position number 5. Through the inner hairpin here this time. And again, up front, all about James Stropko, though, on the white and green Tony Kart. So James Stropko through turn number 3. We'll watch him head to the back section for what should be the final time, I believe. Checkered flag coming this time by James Stropko. Will win, or no, white, is that the white?
White flag.
White flag that time there. Just missed him as we were watching the cameras kind of cycle back up. Stropko, 1 to go here for the 877.
Here he goes, and he has stretched it out to 6.2 seconds over Cash Felber here. So a dominant effort here in our IME 100cc junior category as he works through the outer loop for the final time in your pre-finals.
Yeah, last time through for James Stropko. He'll go to the final turn and across the line. Stropko, your pre-final winner in KA 100cc IME Junior. Second will go to Cash Felber unofficially. Lucas Grusella will end 3rd. Roman Felber 4th. Gage Holland, Jack Haydu. They do not change on that final lap. They stay 5th and 6th. So it's James Stropko leading the field into the main event today from 3rd on the grid. An impressive drive forward for the Tony Kart driver. So KA 100 senior here onto the racetrack, and Harbier Doss with a good qualifying effort on that Rocketech Motorsports Kart Republic, looking good here to lead the field to green. He was impressive in qualifying. We'll pick up the rest of the field as they head to the outer loop on the opening lap of this pre-final, and we get set for the final pre-main of the day for round number 1 of the 2023 Ohio Sprint Series. So for the qualifying session, as they head on out here, we'll wait on them. Harbier Doss on the inside. Let's give you the full lineup when they cross that timing loop of how they sort themselves out to go racing. It's Harbier Doss, Matt Darlison, Lauren Getz, Carson Smith, Cody Lindstrom, Chase Adams, the 6th driver field. Last race here before the break, last of our free coverage. Hopefully it's a good one for Harbier Doss. I'm sure he's hoping it's more of a snoozer. Good jump off the line for the Kart Republic of Harbier Doss. He'll bring Cody Lindstrom with him into second. Lauren Getz on the outside there trying to get through, and I believe that might be Chase Adams trying to go by as well, or maybe Matt Darlison. I think that's Darlison there. Back to second, and they're side-by-side for fourth.
Side-by-side for fourth as they come out of the outer loop. They're still going to be side-by-side for fifth now as the 944 machine of Carson Smith will battle it out there with Lauren Goetz as they come across the line here. She'll drop back to P6 for the moment, but as they work their way through, how about this for the battle for second between Darlison and Lindstrom as they come out of the hairpin?
Yeah, Cody Lindstrom got second for all about 50 feet, and then Matt Darlison took it right back away. They're single file, and Harbier Doss, thankfully, has already been given a massive lead. So 2 laps completed, 1 minute completed, 5 to go. Cody Lindstrom trying to track down Matthew Darlison for second. And the gap back there's the next group there with a little bit of a fight for fifth between Carson Smith and Lauren Getz there at the end of the train. They're just trailing Chase Adams, who's pulled a little bit further away, and everyone has been pulled away from by Harbier Doss. That gap at the line, my goodness, 2.4 seconds. What a rocket ship start for the Rocketech Motorsports Kart Republic of Harbier Doss. He doesn't even fit into frame with the rest of the field anymore, and we're only working lap number 4.
Harbier Doss is the only driver right now to be in the 24-second bracket here, so he is definitely schooling the rest of the field here in your KA 100cc seniors in the IME engine package as they come across the line. Finally, Darlison and Cody Lindstrom is now in the 24-second bracket.
Yeah, Cody Lindstrom a 24.9, Matt Darlison a 24.7, Harbier Doss 24.5, so 2/10 apart each of them. Opening the gaps up for the top 3. Good recovery for Matt Darlison to get himself back into second and close the gap, or pull that gap away from Cody Lindstrom here in his first KA senior start. Matt Darlison has started to make a name for himself regionally here as a 206 senior driver, and it's a big jump up this year to move to the higher horsepower 100cc senior class. That is moving its way to become the headline division here in the newly rebranded Ohio Sprint Series. So for Matt Darlison, P2 and debut, that's good. That's good points if he can hang on to it here through the pre-final. 4th and 5th on your screen are tightening back up, though. Chase Adams and Lauren Getz here coming close together as Getz was able to get around Carson Smith. And so Lauren Getz here a car length back from Chase Adams, and nearly a little bit of contact through turn number 2 and 3 and 4.
Close call right there, but they're able to gather it back up to continue on their way as they come out of the outer loop here. Getz trying to get a good run on to the competitor of Chase Adams, but not close enough to make anything work. Gets a good run, though, out of turn 1 and is trying to close the gap.
Yeah, through turn number 2, Lauren Getz. We had one driver pull in. I believe that was Carson Smith that's pulled in behind the wall. So the driver in 6th will retire early. 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Harbier Doss, Matt Darlison, Cody Lindstrom, 1, 2, 3, 4th and 5th on your screen still. Lauren Getz there in the blue and yellow suit in position number 5, second of the 2. Chase Adams, 4th on the blue and white Ricardo kart, headed down to turn number, or the top kart, sorry, headed through turn number 2.
That top kart really having a good run here as they try to work their way through out of the hairpin, but we're going to see that 957 of Chase Adams continue to hold on for that 4th position here as they come across the line. Just about 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Yeah, still watching. The battle is a little bit wide there, and some more pushing and shoving from Lauren Getz to the rear bumper of Chase Adams. He's holding the spot well, holding the bumps well as well, but definitely pressure building there, and that's the only pressure on the racetrack. Up the road, Harbier Doss's lead still pretty substantial to Matt Darlison. It's over 4 seconds. A second back to Cody Lindstrom in third. Darlison and Lindstrom have closed the gap lap time-wise now, but they just didn't fire off as strong as Harbier did. Harbier Doss instantly went down to some pretty quick times and now is stabilized in the mid-24s. Darlison and Lindstrom just now peaking into those mid-24 second ranges. So for Harbier Doss, that early race pace, that's the difference maker, it seems like, over the rest of the pack here, with 1 minute and 20 seconds plus 2 laps to go in 100cc Senior.
Yeah, he is really starting to click off some more lap time. Still not anywhere near, though, as Darlison, though, is about a couple of tenths off. As we watch here, the battle for the 4th spot between Laurent, as well, she will get back up in front of the field in 4th position.
Yeah, good pass. Went around the outside of turn to number 3, inside in turn 2. Chase Adams gave her a lot of space, and Lauren Getz now will take over position number 4. So an impressive run for Lauren Getz there to move up another spot and see if she can improve the pace to try and close that gap to the leaders. These two have been running about a half second to 7/10 a lap slower than the top 3. Now they're switched and get some clear racetrack to try and run good laps. And again, try to also make sure they stay away from that danger zone of going 2 laps down in the main event or a lap down in general. As you can see, there's the leaders on the right side. Here's the drivers 4th and 5th further back. We'll go all the way back up to the leader, Harbier Doss. He was just coming through that final sector of the circuit. 15 seconds plus 2 laps to go for the Rocket Tech Motorsports driver, Harbier Doss, looking for a win on home turf here at Thompson Kart Raceway.
Javier is only about 10 seconds behind the 5th and 4th place drivers of Adams and Goetz here, so they got a little bit of breathing room. I think they'll be okay, but the question is going to be what happens when we get to the finals this afternoon.
Yeah, double the distance, right? 6 minutes plus 2 laps turns into 12 minutes plus 2 laps. That's a major change, and it could force lap traffic in, and that changes everything because sometimes lap traffic negotiations can be a little bit unpredictable, and you'll see leaders or lappers get wiped out in the process. Luckily for Harbier Doss, he won't have to deal with that, it looks like, at the moment. This time by, the timer's already hit 0. It should be the 2 to go signal, I believe. No, white flag for Harbier Doss. That was the 2 to go the lap before, so 1 to go for Harbier Doss on the Rocket Tech Motorsports Kart Republic. Final lap underway, and it's been a perfect run here from start to finish. You mentioned earlier a couple drivers trying for a perfect day sweep. Harbier Doss is on track with that in 100cc Senior. Pole award in qualifying, every lap led, and the win here in the pre-final for Miami 100cc Senior. Matt Darlison will cross the line to finish in second aboard the Praga. Then it'll be Cody Lindstrom there in third. Lauren Getz and Chase Adams will finish out the field in 4th and 5th. Carson Smith will get a little bit fresher tires for the main events, but unfortunately he won't be able to do much here in this one. Even Harbier Doss having some fun getting the elbows up at the end of it with the chicken dance coming in to the scale line. And that wraps up the free coverage, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you'd like to watch the main events, go to youtube.com/kartchaser/join. The main event stream will pop up at 1:40 p.m. Eastern. This concludes our coverage here for the morning half with qualifying and pre-finals. You'll be able to see the main event replays later on next week if you are not a premium member. And the free coverage kicks back off again tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. For now, though, we'll take our lunch break and come back with main events on KC Premium here at 1:40.